Welcome to the family page of our website. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can expect and perhaps answer some questions that you have. I do not do traditional family therapy. Traditional family therapy is generally a talk therapy that includes the primary family unit, meaning the specific adults and children that live within a unit together, i.e., husband, wife, and child or children. And there are some wonderful experts in the arena of traditional family therapy who do wonderful work, and it is super helpful and necessary for many, many people. It's just not the focus that I do because I have found that there is a different way with adults who want to be able to feel more connected in their family unit, who are raising families in the here and now. This is a unique form of family coaching, consulting, and mediation. A combination of those three pieces comes all together in the work that we do, all right? It is different. I work with adults only, and these adults might be within the same primary family unit living together, but they also go beyond that. The primary unit branches out into the extended family, whether they live locally or live further away. And that might mean your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your adult siblings, or your in-laws. These are family members that are important to you, and they are a part of your family, and you care about them and they care about you. I do this for a number of reasons, but here are two top reasons, two primary reasons that I'd like to share with you today. The first reason is that us as adults have our own histories, right? We all already had our childhoods, and we bring those histories, those childhood experiences with us to where we are now in the here and now with the family members that we interact with, and of course, outside of our family too. And if we are not aware of how those histories impact our relationships in the here and now, our perspectives in the here and now, then we might be passing down unhealthy or unhelpful patterns to our children, to the next generation, and within our relationships with our family members that we care about without even realizing it. Okay. And then our children in the next generation, they pass those patterns down too, and so on and so forth. We don't want that, right? If it's unhealthy or unhelpful, don't we want to shift that? And so when we do this adult family work, we can help break those cycles so that they don't continue to repeat themselves. That's number one. The second reason why I do the work that I do in this way is that we are living during a time where mental health support tends to be less taboo to talk about and to receive, and is more accessible than ever before in our lifetimes, right? So why not use that to our advantage? If you or your family members were not able to receive the mental health support for hurts or traumas that you were experienced in the past when you were younger, but they're still affecting you now, you did not lose out on that opportunity to address it within yourself or within your family. This gives you the opportunity to do that. Sometimes for adult family members who didn't get to work through, process, heal those past hurts or traumas within their family, they feel like, oh, well, that ship has sailed. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm an adult now. I'm grown. It's been 20 years, 30 years, X amount of years. My parents were this person. They're older now. They're stuck in their ways. There's nothing I can do about it. That is not true. It's not true. Not if you and the other parties in your family do want to see some change happen in your relationship. Okay, so the opportunity has not passed. The ship has not sailed. This is an opportunity that you are gifted, that's being offered to you to be able to receive help with processing that in a healthy, helpful, and meaningful way. Those are the top two reasons why that I wanted to share with you today about why I do this the way that I do it. And since we don't want to pass on unhealthy patterns to our children, and we still get a chance to work through hard stuff with our family, even though we don't live together or we're all grown or that happened when we were younger, right? Since those things are true, then we can now decide if we want to make a commitment to learning from and about one another differently, so that more growing, more healing, more connecting can happen in a way that feels better for everyone involved. Now, there will be bumps and challenges and hard experiences along the way to that growth, to that healing, to that deeper connection, but it is possible for that to happen if you and your family members want to come together and work on it. And ultimately, the benefit of doing this kind of work together as adults, it doesn't just end with you. The benefit of that ripples out to then affect your children, your partnership, your relationship with people outside of your family, and the relationships that your children, your partner, and others who you touch, that they have with other people as well. So the ripple effect just goes on and on and on. And I think that that's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty big ripple effect. I don't even know that we can necessarily calculate the effect of that. So I'm just going to give a couple examples of folks who might want to come in and do this kind of family work together and see if any of them fit for you. If you're an adult child who wants to improve your relationship with your adult siblings or parents or in-laws so that there's less tension and more effective communication amongst all of you, that might fit for you. Or your family lives geographically scattered, but you want to feel more relationally connected to and supported by one another, and you'd like to perhaps understand one another better. That might be another one. Or you've got a strained relationship with an extended family member and you want to work it out before it's too late. Or perhaps you experienced trauma in your childhood and it just got swept under the rug. But it's been far too long, and now in adulthood, you're noticing that the symptoms of that trauma are sneaking up on you. They're peeking out. They really can't stay under the rug anymore. It's affecting you. It's affecting your relationships. It's affecting your mental health, and you want that to change. Okay. Or, and here's the last example I'll give today. Now that you are a parent raising your own children, you want your family involved in a helpful and meaningful way, in a positive way. You want them involved in your kids' lives, but you're realizing that there are some important things that you need to talk with them about so that they're not just ignored, and patterns that have previously been hurtful to you or are really bothering you now aren't being swept under the rug or trampled over. Okay. And so you either don't know where to begin with that, or you're scared to start speaking with them about that. You don't want to make matters worse if you bring it up with them. So you need some support there. Okay. If any one of those reasons resonates for you, then I'm glad that you're here. You're definitely in the right spot. And this is work we could discuss doing together, see if it's a good fit. I'm Dr. Tony, and I've been doing this work for a while now, for the better part of 2 decades at this point. And I've worked with countless families from a variety of backgrounds and circumstances in settings ranging from schools to community to the courts and hospitals, and even within the walls of their own home. So I feel very honored to be able to do this work in a different way with families within my private practice, which I've been running for several years now. What I've found in my experience is that while there are countless differences between individual family members and various family units, there are some things that tend to be true across the board. And these are things that we can't ignore. These are things that if we can have an awareness of them, it actually can help us work through how to handle a lot of the challenges and issues that come up within a family unit. One of these things is, without exception, every single family and individual has learned something, some kind of behavior or belief about what they do or do not want to be from the generation ahead of them. Okay? So you learned something about what you do or don't want to be in behavior or belief from the adults that were in your lives when you were younger. And the adults that were in your lives when they were younger, they also learned about what they do or don't want to be through behavior or belief. Consciously or unconsciously, that happens, okay? And it can be passed, those behaviors and beliefs can be passed from generation to generation if we are not aware of them. And some of them can be healthy and helpful. Some are unhealthy and unhelpful. They can hurt the people that we care about. Perhaps when they were passed down, they hurt you. Another thing that is true across the board is that whether it was consciously or unconsciously, every person within your family unit and every person within the family unit that your parents or your in-laws came from as well, they experienced being hurt or they took part in doing the hurting of one or more family members. Because none of us is perfect. None of us is infallible. Ruptures, pains, hurts happen in relationships, right? The reality is that families are systems. It's a kind of system. Families are a relational system. And all systems consist of parts that affect or influence the other parts in some way. So your family is a system, and you are a part of that system. Now, depending on how you look at this, some may hear this and think that it could be a good thing. And some may hear this and think that it could be a bad thing. All right? I'm going to posit that it is an impactful thing. And that impact can be felt in a negative way, and it can be felt in a positive way. Now, as kids, we often don't feel like we get a say in our family dynamics, what happens within our family. But as adults who now know how impactful, how meaningful our actions, our reactions, our interactions, and everything in between, like the words that we do and don't say, for example, how they can affect the lives and the psyche of those we care about so much. And so isn't it, with that knowledge, our responsibility to try to learn what we can about how to help that impact and meaning be more positive or more healthy or more helpful as opposed to more negative, more hurtful, or more unhelpful? I think so. I think if we have that awareness, we have that knowledge, we have that wisdom, it's up to us to do something about that in a very intentional way. And that is why I do these family sessions the way that I do. Now, I can't say that I know exactly what's going on in your family. I can't say that I have all the answers. Honestly, that's not the point. I'll never know exactly every single thing that's going on in your family or exactly how every single person sees everything and how they feel about everything down to the T. No one can really know that, okay? And no professional has every single answer for you either, right? So let's put that to the side. That's not the point of this, okay? It's not my job to become the expert of your family. It's my job to help you as an individual and you all as a family become more of the experts about yourselves on the inside and the outside of your family systems, okay? That's going to go on to help you as an individual and as a collective family unit to feel more equipped to navigate life in a more meaningful way, in a more connected way, in a healthier way. And even though there will be bumps, because life will happen, right? No one can guarantee you it's going to be smooth all the time. You'll feel more equipped to navigate those bumps. So if you're struggling, we've probably got some work to do. And we can do that work. It is possible. That's why I'm glad that you're here. Ready and willing to do it. To help shift, to help break, to help change some generational cycles that need to be shifted or broken or changed in some meaningful way. To help you make an informed decision about the next step that you want to take. Okay, so let me share a little bit of information that might answer some questions for you about how I do what I do so you can get a feel if we're a good fit for working together. When it comes to family work, I'm going to view your family as a system because it is. And I'm going to view each individual as both a part of that system as well as separate right? A separate piece of that system, okay? And we're going to get a feel for how that system is or isn't functioning and why. And I'm going to work with you all as a group to better understand your collective goal for our work together. But I'm also going to work with you individually to help you better understand the perspectives that you have going on within yourself, that the things that trigger or activate you within yourself as well. Since this is such a unique and personalized approach, I can't say exactly how long our work together is going to last. That does vary from family to family and based on the goals that you all have for yourselves. Now, the kind of work that I do is not cookie cutter. You're not going to find one single source or one single book or one single theory that explains every single thing I do and every reason why I do it. Instead, I pull from plethora of different yet complementary approaches that help inform the techniques and tools that I bring up in our sessions. And I do that based upon what you present, the challenges you present, the goals you present, the strengths that you all have, and the areas that you're feeling weaker in. Okay. Now, I have studied, trained, and developed skills in several therapeutic methods so that I can integrate their core features together in a really unique, really individualized and intentional way. And that gives me the ability to support you all in a more holistic approach. And I have just found that that is incredibly effective for so many families. Now, of course, we will talk. Okay. So we will do talking together as a family in a group setting, and we will also do talking together individually. But we're not only going to talk. Okay. I may ask you to also try some tools, resources, or techniques that go beyond talking as well to help really solidify or intensify some of the work that we're doing. Some examples of what I mean by that might be that we might try some body-based skills like noticing your body sensations in a certain way or moving your body in a certain way. And that's based off of somatic psychology. Or we might do some brain-based techniques like brain spotting, where we find a spot in your visual field and that particular spot is connected with a sensation and emotional experience. And it's helping to deeply process from that position based on how I'm supporting you and attuning to you and what your system is needing in those moments. I might also encourage you to do some trial and erroring with certain activities, certain writing prompts, certain smells or sounds. And I might encourage you to do that in session or outside of session. Now, these types of techniques call upon more than just your cognitive thinking brain, which is where general talk therapy focuses for the most part, is this thinking part of your brain. But there's more to us than just having a thinking part of our brain, okay? Remember, your family's a system, but guess what else? So is your brain and body, okay? Your whole body is a system made up of many parts. And we want all of those parts to be able to communicate together in a healthy and helpful way so that they're integrated and able to optimally function. Okay, so if you are open to trying these less talk-based alternatives to working together, you might be surprised at what you learn. Now, if any part of this is intriguing to you, if it's bringing up questions or maybe it's confusing, but it's still something that's making you think like, oh, well, maybe this might be what we need. Maybe this might be what I was looking for. You can click any button on the screen that says to schedule a free consult, and you can send me an email and I will answer the questions, or we could schedule a free phone consult and we could see if we're a good fit for working together. Either way, I am glad that you're here considering taking this next step so that you can feel more integrated, more connected within yourself and within your family unit, because we know, right? We know how powerful the impact of that is, not just within you, but for your children, for your other family members, for your partnership, and for the people that you interact with, even outside of your family.